been 6 years since I first met Jonah. It was at a wedding, a friend of my aunt and uncle who I'd been living with for a year then. I was 15. That awkward age where I'm no longer considered a child, but still not old enough to sit with the adults. So there I was, sat at a dingy kids' table by the back of the hall, along with several actual children that I tried my best to talk to. Then there was him, Jonah, another uncomfortable teen. He was cute, and looked just as awkward as I felt. I was the one who started a conversation. His voice was quiet and soft. He was my age, and came to the wedding with his parents. The bride worked with his mum. Or at least one of them. I discovered later in the night that he had two, after they stopped by the table to check in on him. I felt safe with him. I wasn't about to come out to this stranger, but I truly felt comfortable after meeting his mums and seeing how we interacted with them. We talked a lot that night, found a bunch of common interests, mostly movies and video games, both fans of the MCU and Assassin's Creed. The more we spoke, the more his shyness slipped away. His eyes would light up as he explained a complicated plot point from some convoluted game lore. My cheeks hurt from how much I was smiling that night. In moments of comfortable silence, I'd watch the couples on the dance floor. Some elegant and some less so. But they all looked like they were having fun. I wanted to ask him to dance. A question right on the tip of my tongue all night. I didn't even know how to dance. But the idea of dancing with him made my gay little heart flutter. I had run off to the bathroom to psych myself up to ask him. And to check I didn't look a total mess. I was determined. As I returned to the main hall, I noticed him over with his mum's by the back door, and I froze as I watched him put his coat on. Time seemed to be moving in slow motion. It was too late. They were leaving. We said our goodbyes, and that was that. I never expected to see Jonah again, so imagine the surprise when I opened my front door to a familiar face. Though now older and much hotter. 4 years had passed since the wedding, and the time had done wonders for him. He was cute before, but now, man, my heart was in trouble. He was training as an electrician and been sent to fix our faulty plug socket, along with his mentor who promptly took a fag break out front. I remember the sheer horror I felt at being left alone with this attractive guy, one I most definitely crushed on in the past and spent many nights wondering about. In my baggy pyjamas and fuzzy socks of all things. Not quite the outfit I've chosen for our reunion if I knew it was happening. He had recognised me though, and we spoke quite comfortably as we got to work on the socket. Thankfully, it was an easy fix, though there was a minor spark at one point, similar to the one between us that I prayed he felt too. Miraculously, I didn't make a fool of myself, and it all ended with us exchanging numbers and a promise to catch up. I probably typed and deleted 100 messages before actually sending one. A simple, "Hey, want to get a coffee tomorrow?" and promptly panicked moments after hitting send. I felt sick as I waited for a response. Surprised when my phone pinged only moments later. We met up the next day and our beautiful friendship began. We had a steady friendship. We would hang out all the time and go here, there and everywhere together. We'd regularly go to the cinema or the arcade on the pier and get fresh donuts on the seafront. We became regulars in each other's houses and around the other's family. At the start of this summer, his family decided to have a barbecue garden party type thing, and I was of course invited. I loved being around his family. Being around other LGBT people was always reassuring and comforting, and his mums were so supportive of their son, and myself after I had come out to them. The barbecue was filled with laughter, good food, and most importantly, drinks. When it got darker, they lit up a fire pit and Jonah and I sat together in the warm glow. Others had started to filter out and we were alone, side by side, with my head resting on his shoulder, as I had done countless times before. The moment felt so romantic. It was a word I was scared to use to describe us. The stars glowing above us, the gentle crackling of the fire, our closeness and warmth. I could hear his unsteady breath and feel the gentle rise and fall of his chest. He was nervous. I felt the same way. The moment just felt right, like an unspoken prompt. I sat up and his head followed to look me in the eyes. My palms were sweaty as I spoke. I actually did it. I confessed to him about my feelings that I had tried to keep hidden, but felt he already knew. Yet, his eyes were wide, like I had just said the most ridiculous thing or grown another head. I can still hear the thumping of my heart against my chest, even now as I remember that moment. His shocked expression slipped away and was replaced with a smile and red cheeks. He had asked if I really meant it. I told him, of course. I really, really liked him. He felt the same way. A few days later, we were sat at an ice cream shop. Not a new place for us, but it felt like a whole new experience. Our first date. It felt natural, even if we were both a bit nervous. We got our usual flavours and sat at the same table we always did, and we talked about the usual things. But there were more lingering glances, little touches that were no longer accidental. When we left, our hands brushed against each other. I hooked my little finger around his for a moment, testing the waters. He smiled at me and took my hand in his. It was a new, exciting feeling that sent electricity through my veins. Even if it was coupled with the anxiety we both felt but didn't need to mention. We were both aware of the risks. Being a part of a gay couple in public could bring unwanted attention and danger. Our hands slipped apart as we crossed paths with some particularly unfriendly looking faces. Just in case. A few weeks ago, we headed to the park, his little sister clinging to our arms and swinging. Mariana had always liked me, and after overhearing Jonah on the phone to me, she insisted we all go out together. He had apologised, but I assured him I didn't mind. We watched her play on the playground from a nearby bench, chatting as we listened to the birds around us in the trees. Jonah had brought some monkey nuts and seeds along, a surprise for me and Mariana. I love feeding the squirrels and pigeons. He helped me live up my Disney princess fantasy. He always thinks about others. It's just one of the things I love about him. Back on the playground, Mariana very loudly and excitedly told another child that she was here with her brother and his boyfriend. We smiled to ourselves. Until the random boy told her, "That's gross," and she got mad. We both ran over to calm her down. Some parents gave us dirty looks. The atmosphere had changed dramatically. We left quickly and quietly. Mariana didn't understand, but she knew something was wrong, and she stayed quiet. Once we got back to their house, she apologized to us. We promised her that she did nothing wrong. Today, we're at the beach. Just us. I had mentioned wanting to go before, and whilst he doesn't normally like going out in sunny weather, considering his wardrobe consists solely of baggy hoodies and sweatshirts, but he still nervously offered to go together. The sun beats down on us as we make ourselves comfortable on the sand, as far away from the other beachgoers as we can be. He seems quiet. I tell him we can leave if he's uncomfortable, but he insists he's okay. I watch the waves roll onto the sand before retreating back into the deep blue. Seagulls are situated everywhere you look, their squawks carried by the wind. I hand Jonah a drink, try my best to keep him hydrated in his black hoodie. He tells me that this has been the first time he's actually enjoyed summer, that everything seems easier with me by his side. I call him a sap, and we laugh. We have a bit of a heart-to-heart. He tells me he's worried he's not enough of a man for me. I tell him he has nothing to worry about. I wasn't aware he was having these worries. It never crossed my mind that he would think I didn't consider him a real man. To me, he's Jonah, a guy I met when I was a nervous teen, a guy I admire and care for, my best friend, my boyfriend. I'm glad he told me though, so I can reassure him. I never want him to worry about something like that with me. The evening rolls around, and I'm surprised he wanted to stay this long. His eyes survey the beach as I relax on the towel next to him. Suddenly, he stands. and I watch his movements with curiosity. Maybe his leg went dead? He smiles at me, and I smile back. He looks to the sea, and my eyes follow. Just out of my sight, I see him move a bit. When he walks out in front of me, he's shirtless. This is my first time seeing him in his binder. My heart warms, knowing that he's truly comfortable around me. He runs into the sea, body consumed by the water, and turns to me. Care to join me? I don't hesitate.